All right, let's move on to Best Director. Dave, what do you got?
Okay, so all of these movies have been mentioned by one or two or three of us before.
What are the chances that we all cross over here?
I think pretty high.
50-50? Higher than that?
I can almost guarantee we're
70,
not
30?
gonna. I think there's gonna be at least one on my list that is not on yours.
I mean, as far as winners, though.
Winners, probably.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
All right, go ahead.
The Brutalist, Brady Corbet. Nosferatu, Robert Eggers. Nickel Boys, Ramel Ross. Challengers, Luca Guadagnino.
Okay.
All We Imagine Is Light, Pio Capadia. The winner, I mean, it's like I almost feel bad because Brady Corbet, Robert Eggers, phenomenal work. But Ramel Ross, you can't talk about Best Director this year without Ramel Ross. If Ramel Ross doesn't get nominated at the Oscars, something once again is wrong, because this is not only probably going to be the best thing he ever does, this might be the best thing anyone on this list ever does. This direction job is perfect. Like, no bad choices, no fat on this movie. Every decision is correct, and it is, I mean, the pairing of Ramel Ross and Jomo Frey is like one for the ages. I hope that it becomes one of those things where they just work together for the rest of their career.
I was going to say they're not allowed to break apart.
Seriously. Incredible. Yeah. Ramel Ross, Best Director, not particularly close. Ramel Ross.
Yep. Ramel Ross is a nominee for me, as well as Pio Capadia. I have a few other ones here as far as my other nominees. They include Sean Baker for Anora, George Miller for Furiosa and Mad Max Saga, and Pascal Plante for Red Rooms. Those are my 5 nominees. Ramel Ross is my winner, though. As I mentioned earlier, when we talk about filmmakers trying to reinvent the form, this is what we meet. And it never feels like a gimmick. I mean, it is a gimmick, but it never feels like a gimmick. That's the big difference there. And I never found it emotionally suffocating either. I found it very complimentary for all the reasons we've been talking about. I think it's really great work, masterful work. I'm sure we'll talk about it further as this entire awards episode continues.
Oh, and the other thing I wanted to mention is that it's a movie in many ways about Black pain that chooses not to show the grotesque side of it.
Sure.
It allows you to understand this is the terrible thing that happened, and it makes you feel like there is a scene where they're leading one of the characters into this room to be punished, and my heart felt like it was going to pop out of my chest. I was so anxious. And yet they never show anything. Like, they show some of the after effects.
One of the best edits of the year.
That whole incredible. Incredible. Yeah. It just shows you can have Black pain on screen without diving into it and using it as shock value. And I thought that was wonderful to see.
Yeah. The utilization of archival footage during some of that too is like, just, it adds a historical relevance to it, which actually makes it more painful, knowing how real that this ultimately was.
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay, with all of that said, Ramel Ross is a nominee for me as well, for all the reasons you guys noted there. I also have Brady Corbet for The Brutalist, Pio Capadia for All We Imagine as Light, Jane Schoenbrunn for I Saw the TV Glow,
I like that pick.
And my final one here is Denis Villeneuve for Dune Part 2.
Okay.
I think this was a really great category. I actually have another 5 here that if I listed out these other 5, you guys would be like, oh yeah, that's also a great.
All good choices.
Yeah.
Good year. Good year.
So I don't know what else to say. It is Ramel Ross. This category begins and ends with Ramel Ross and Nickel Boys.
Yeah.
It is the best direction of the year. I have really nothing to add. I think you guys all nailed it. It is a stunning work of art. And I completely agree.
Great stuff.
Beautiful movie.